Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Jeanette Byro here. I'm a medium and a channeler. Welcome to your weekday daily card reading where we dive into the cards and see what's in store with a message from Spirit. How are you all doing? Happy Friday. We made it through Friday. We're almost at the end of May, stepping into the energy of June. Now, I got to tell you, I recorded the June energy update yesterday, and it is a good one. There's a There's a whole spectrum of things in there. So you'll definitely want to check that out on the podcast on Monday. Second thing I want to say is on Monday, we will be opening up 10 more spots for the tune in readings. So by 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you'll be able to jump in and get your spot if you so wish. And I will have your readings back to you by the end of that week. So within a week, you will get your responses. And I just think that's better because if you have a question, you kind of want to know. You don't want to wait 3 months to know, right? Okay, so this week I'm finishing up the week with the Awakening Avalon Oracle deck that we created at Avalon Spirit. There is a link in the description box below for all the decks that we carry, plus the courses and the tune-in. Okay, let's see what we have here. This is neat. My guides are saying savor the sweetness. Slow down and savor the sweetness. And they're like, it's so important that you do that along the way because otherwise you miss it. This is really neat. So they're telling me, yeah, fair. So I was given this really neat spirit experience just the other week, and I'm going to talk about it next month. So June, Cosmic Consciousness, about death. And this isn't part of my experience, but it relates to that experience, which I understood death in another way, which again, I'll explain then because there's a whole thing to it. Anyways, what they're saying right now is that they're like, savor the sweetness of life. Because if you don't, when you are in those moments of transition, when you're releasing your body, you have this flash experience of what you missed out on or what really matters. And it's usually right before you transition in those moments leading up to it. It might be mere moments, it might be days, right? But in that time leading up to your passing, often there's this reflection that starts to happen where you are pondering your life and realizing how you missed out on certain things because you assumed other things were so important, like making all the money and rushing here and there. And I'm generalizing, but I'm not, again, take what resonates, but not being in the sweetness of life. And they're saying it's so important that you savor that sweetness because it's those moments that you take with you, not the rushing. You don't take that with you. You don't take the money with you. You take those sweet moments. And so they're like, this weekend, make a point of savoring the sweet moments, even if they're just little moments, maybe they're big events, whatever it is, savor it, which I think is so beautiful. What a great reminder as we step into the weekend. All right, let's see what the cards have to say about the weekend energies. Still a lot of spirit energy around. So just like we had in the beginning of the week, your ancestors are around, your guides are around. They totally are. As soon as I close my eyes, it's just whoa, room is full. So let's see what we have. Well, this is interesting. I'm going to take one more. Okay, very cool. So with the energies this weekend, okay, we have again the Notice What You Notice card. And this says observe the world around you. So notice what you notice. Notice those moments where you can savor that sweetness. Don't miss them. Be observant. Don't be so stuck in. Sometimes we get stuck in ourselves. And I mean, that can be really positive sometimes because we can create amazing things from that. But sometimes we get kind of too stuck. Sometimes we get stuck in doing the work all the time nonstop. We forget to look outside of ourselves. Sometimes some spirits do this when they cross over, actually. If they've had such turmoil leading up to their passing, when they cross, it's kind of like their eyes are down and they won't look up and see all the guides and loved ones around them. So this is kind of neat with Spirit saying savor the sweetness of life is notice the world around you. Notice what you notice, right? Pay attention to it. And when you do, the next thing they're saying is with this root chakra card, which says ground into the earth, I'm going to say this is like ground into the moment. Really ground into those moments, capture those moments because they become like these soul pixels in your heart space that you take with you, right? And so ground into those moments, bring those moments into your being and then ground that into yourself. And you could even ground that into the earth. That energy would be beautiful for the earth. But ground it in, bring it in, okay? Because here's the interesting thing. With the energy that we're in right now, at the same time, it's easy to be pulled off course, like we've talked about this week, right? It's easy to be pulled off course. So you have to reset in your own energy. So things that will help you reset so that you can savor those moments is time to smudge. I love this card so much. Time to smudge. It says clear your energy. A good smudge in however you do that, um, whether it's following a religious way, a sacred ceremony way, whether it is lighting incense, whether it is using music to smudge, sound, your own heart energy, Palo Santo, sage, whatever your method of clearing your energy is, it would be really good for you to clear your energy going into this weekend. Okay. It's really going to help set you up for that space that you need to be able to see those sweet moments. And, excuse me, set your boundaries card. I think this is cool. Allow yourself to say no. So we have two cards that are really asking us to tend to our energy this weekend, right? Be very choosy. You are co-creating your reality. So choose wisely. Okay. Choose wisely. And at the same time, as you create that space for yourself, notice the world around you and ground those moments into your being. And that's how you can really make the most of the energy this weekend and make the most of your journey and this transition into the energies of June. Okay. Very interesting. I love this. I really love this energy. I just feel like they have one more thing to say here. Hold on. I was just about to wrap it up. They're saying make sure you tend to your container for growth. And that's kind of that idea with boundaries. Um, if you imagine your boundaries help to create this sort of energetic container, we could use that. When you tend to that container, you release stuff that you no longer want in that container, and you also prevent things from coming into that container that you don't want either. And that's what that smudging and the boundaries. So when you tend to it and you bring in what you want, those sweet moments, that sweetness of life, you are tending to this beautiful container that helps elevate your growth in consciousness. So, what an amazing message. All right, everyone, I will leave that with all of you for now. I wish you a beautiful Friday, a beautiful weekend, and I look forward to seeing all of you on Monday. So have a wonderful rest of your weekend, everyone.